Good evening everybody and welcome back into my kitchen. This evening I'm going to prepare something for some of you that may have done this already, those of you that come to my class, or you may even have done it obviously at home. But it's something I haven't done for a long while, and neither my partner nor myself are particularly hungry this evening, so I thought using stuff up I've got in the fridge and having a slightly different tea would be the way to go. So what I'm going to have are little homemade pizzas and little baby roasties with homegrown potatoes. So what I have here, I've got my slices of bread. Now these are slices of bread that I have done from a big thick French stick that I had got quite some time ago and decided I wanted to freeze it. So I sliced it first of all and then I put it in the freezer, and I've just taken 3 individual slices from that loaf of bread. I'm probably going to have soup tonight, so these will be for Vaughan, although I may pinch one. We'll see how we go. So that's what I have there, and I have my sliced tomatoes. In this little dish here I have mixed some tomato puree with some tomato sauce, and that's what I'm going to use to spread over the top. I then have my oregano, which I know in class we've not always used because not everybody likes it, but we do, so I'm going to put that on. And then on this plate here I've got a couple of slices of salami with a few wee cocktail sausages. I thought that'd be a bit different for tonight, and my cheese. And then in here I have 3 of Vaughan's homegrown potatoes. So what I'm basically going to do is put it all together. So the first thing I shall do is spread my bread with the tomato puree mixture. Now if you didn't have tomato puree, guys, you could just use tomato sauce. Alternatively, if you didn't have tomato sauce but for some reason you had tomato puree in the house, then you could use one or t'other on its own. But I'm going to use both because I think it gives it a nice rich flavour and it's something we like. Now, as you've probably heard me saying to you before, those of you that do know me and those of you that don't, I'm going to tell you what not to do, and that is not to put too much of this on, because then it can make your bread really quite soggy. So just put enough to cover right to the ends so that the bread isn't too dry, but again not too much to make it soggy, and that is about right. Okay, and then you can really just experiment at this stage. So what I'm going to do on one of them is just place the 2 bits of salami and then a few slices of the tomato, maybe 4, okay, and then I'm just going to finish it with cheese. And there's one, and I'll put it on this stainless steel tray here, and then that'll just go straight into the oven once we're finished the other ones. Okay, on the other 2 bits of bread I'm going to sprinkle a little of my oregano. So I'm just going to put a little on. I did put it on that first one because I thought I had one without. So just a little of that on to the tomato puree, and that'll stick to the tomato puree, which will be quite nice. So with the little sausages, what I'm going to do is just going to half them lengthwise, okay, and then just place them in a line over the bread. I've never had little mini pizzas with cocktail sausages before. I just thought it would be a little different. I bought the cocktail sausages yesterday because they looked rather nice. So that's them, and again perhaps just a couple of the slices of tomato this time, and then again finishing off with cheese. Now you could use your grated cheese if you have some already done, or if you've bought actually grated cheese, which saves you a bit of time. I have this block of cheese that needs using up, so I just decided to slice mine. And there we have it. 3 lovely little French bread pizzas ready to go into the oven in a while. So that's that. So I'm just going to quickly give this chopping board a wipe, and then I'll reuse it for the potatoes. What we have found, guys, over the last few nights since we've been using these homegrown potatoes, they cook very, very quickly. So tonight I'm not even going to parboil them. All I'm going to do is just cut them into what you could actually cut them into chip shapes if you wanted and actually have them as chips. But I'm going to do little roasties, and I don't want them too small because, as I say, they are cooking very, very quickly. So I've got my trusty pot, as you've all probably seen before, that can be used on the stove as well as in the oven, and I've got some chili oil in here. So all I'm going to do is put these in raw like that, and then about 6 o'clock, so an hour before we're due to eat, I will just probably put them straight into the oven and just let them do their thing, and I'm quite sure within the hour they will be just perfect. Normally when you're using potatoes straight from the supermarket, I would suggest to parboil these as we have done before, but as I say, I have been using these all week and we found that they are cooking very, very quickly. So just get a little spoon and just toss them in the oil. Now you could put some garlic in here, you could put some smoked paprika, and I could actually possibly fry them for a little while on the top of the stove just to sort of slightly brown, and then continue cooking in the oven. But to be fair with you, I think I'll just probably put them straight into the oven as they are, with the lid on, and just let them do their thing, and I think they'll be just fine. So there we are. That's tonight's tea. A little bit of a snacky tea, but hey-ho, I think we're allowed once in a while. For tonight's challenge, I'm going to break away with the food. I think sometimes you can maybe get a bit bogged down with that, and I think I'd like to have a challenge this evening that's a bit more fun. So, because we are allowed to go out a little bit more, albeit we need to be very careful if we're going to be in a supermarket or near a lot of people, you want to be wearing a mask. But with the weather getting a little bit warmer, I thought it'd be rather fun, especially now we're into the summer months, if you were to go outside and see how many different leaves you could find. Now they might be on the ground, or you might have a garden that has some plants, and I thought you could either do a picture with the different leaves, or even if you want to try and name them, try and take a leaf, take it back to your computer and maybe look up the computer to see if you can identify what type of leaf it is. Or you might even want to pick flowers, but that might not be so easy. I don't certainly have a lot of flowers in my garden, but I do have plenty greenery and a lot of leaves. Or you just might want to make a picture out of the leaves and then take a photograph of it, and you can post it onto the website or the group chat. So there we are. There's tonight's challenge for those of you that want to join in. As ever, guys, thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate it. And I'll look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Take care. Bye for now.